Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about XDefiant and the unfortunate news that has been received that it is delayed indefinitely. But before we get into the main topic at hand, let me introduce myself. My name is Gumrak and I am a variety streamer over on Twitch, and I like to give my opinions on games that I've been playing lately or have caught my attention. Today we're going to be talking about XDefiant and the pending delay that has been happening with it, and why I think we're going to see a release in 2024. But before that, I would like to talk to you guys about our channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of the year, and we're at 952 of the 1,000 that we need, and I wanted to thank you guys very much for all your support, because if it wasn't for you and your consideration, this channel wouldn't even exist. So thank you guys very much. Without further ado, let's talk about XDefiant. XDefiant first entered the scene as a Tom Clancy game, which eventually had the name removed from it for unknown reasons other than the fact that it just didn't seem to tie in with other Tom Clancy type games. So I'm assuming they made the decision to remove that on that basis. Since then, they've made a pure focus on making it a class-based system inside of their video game that seems to work out rather well when you actually play it. In this particular video, we're not actually going to be talking about XDefiant itself. I'm going to leave a couple of links down in the description down below if you're interested in finding out what XDefiant is. And today we're going to be focusing on just the release period that we think is going to be happening for the video game. With BlizzCon coming up in November with absolutely no tie-in to this FPS genre whatsoever, it's going to be BlizzCon. With BlizzCon, there's going to be an announcement of a survival MMO game that they have yet to bring to the public. And that's the hope that we're going to see during BlizzCon. But because there's so much hype around it, it would just pull away from anything that XDefiant had to do when it came to a release period. So it doesn't make any sense to release during then. And then you have the Game Awards that are going to be happening in December. The Game Awards would probably be a time that we see them actually put out a trailer for XDefiant, and you're going to start to see the ramp up at that point. I believe the time frame that we should be focusing on at this point will be the Game Developers Conference in March, and then followed up directly behind that will be PAX East. Given the fact that it's an Ubisoft title, and the fact that they're a AAA developer, we can almost expect them to want to hit us with the exciting news and the ramp up during some of the hottest times of the year. You can't get much hotter than PAX East very early on in the year. I believe they're going to take this time because they want to finish up polishing the game. There's too many instances in which we see content creators who put out information or conversations about how a game is just not ready and it's released in a broken to fixed release title, which has resulted in some really disastrous results for a good number of games this year. I believe that Ubisoft is going to actually release their title in the most complete state that they can because it's a free-to-play title, and if they don't, it'll just be dead upon arrival, which is how I basically stated it's going to be when the game actually releases. I want to clarify that statement a little bit. When I say dead on arrival, I should say that it's probably not going to meet the expectations that they want from a title in either to keep it alive. I certainly don't think it's going to be dead and boiled down to like an 800 player base. So I think the more correct statement would be delivered with expectations not met, because that's the best way to describe what I believe is going to happen to the player base for this game. I believe it's going to come out. I believe there's going to be the honeymoon phase. I believe there's going to be lots of people playing it, and then it's just going to dwindle off until it's no longer sustainable, which is pretty much how every game works. I just think the life cycle for this game is going to be rather short. One of the reasons why I think the life cycle is going to be rather short is because you have games that are coming out that are going to be free to play that I believe are going to just absolutely crush the market. One of those being the finals. Now, I did do a review on the finals, and while I didn't exactly attach to the finals or consider myself part of their demographic, I do see how well the game is designed and that the game brings a lot of stuff to the table that is already great inside of their testing phases, and they haven't even released the game yet. You can play that game now until November 5th. And that's just one of many titles that we have seen released for the year, yet alone the number of titles that we'll see released during PAX East. So they have a rough road in front of them and either to get it right. In this case, they're taking the extra time to get the game polished exactly how they want it, because if they don't, there'll be too many other games released to the public that are actually good and great to play, that are free to play, which I think is going to dominate the market over the next couple years. Free to play, while extremely difficult to get yourself into the market, is extremely profitable if you do. Because at the end of the day, it's all about money. And while that does seem greedy, it doesn't change the fact that these games require a large, substantial amount of money to sustain and keep running. There's staff that needs to be paid, and additionally, you also have to pay for the large amount of server space that's taking up and the bandwidth that's being used. Because while it's nice to own your own servers as a AAA company, it doesn't change the fact that you still have to pay for bandwidth. Now, let's get something clear here, because it gets brought up in almost every conversation I have with these types of titles, is that they're stating that the team has already been paid, which is true. They do not need this game to be successful and either to pay their staff. They need it to be successful and either to continue paying staff to continue running it on a regular basis. This is not a title that they intend to drop and just let people play. They intend on giving you a season pass and regular outfits that can be bought and cosmetics inside of the shop. That requires a constant team, which requires a constant flow of influx of money, and either to make it worth it to the company. Unlike indie developers who have to make money and either to pay their staff at the time of development, Ubisoft has enough money to pay their staff and then collect the money afterwards, which is pretty much what they do. However, if that title isn't making enough money and either to sustain actually paying those people, then they consider it a failed project and they close the doors on it. So it's important that the game makes money. Needless to say, free-to-play games are a gamble. Therefore, Ubisoft is taking a gamble, weighing in their ability to be able to develop a game versus the amount of money that it could possibly make in either to keep the game running on a successful level, which has to be the bare minimum. So I don't blame a company for delaying a game indefinitely until a release date properly suits the release of the game, so it's not trampled by larger titles, and to make sure it's polished when it releases. The best thing that Ubisoft has done with this title is be completely transparent about where they are in their development. Not necessarily the time frames, but just the status of the game and what they want to get done and what they're doing with the title currently and when the next round of testing will be. So far, that has worked out greatly in their favor in keeping the expectations up for the game. I know there's quite a few of my friends who are looking forward to seeing it no matter when it releases because they've been following the development that closely. For now, all we can do is sit and wait. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Are you guys looking forward to XDefiant? And do you think we'll see the release during PAX East or a different time frame? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Thank you guys very much for watching the video. I'll see you next week. And remember to hit that subscription button and hit the bell notification to know when I put up a new video, as I do work a 9 to 5 and my schedule's kind of long at the moment. Thank you guys for everything. Tell your loved ones you love them often. Peace.